This is a resolution to appoint Ewing McDowell as the chair of the redistricting commission because we had a resignation from the previous appointment. Is there any questions from any of the council members? May I have a motion to approve? We don't have a motion first.
Okay.
I'm asking for a motion.
I move that we appoint C. Ewing McDowell as the chairman of the district.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion to approve resolution 37-2013 by Councilman McCarthy and a second by Councilwoman Bowlesby. Is there any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, I ask the council manager to call the roll call vote.
Dr. McCarthy.
Aye.
Ms. Bowlesby.
Aye.
Mr. Dunn.
Aye.
Ms. Brumell.
Aye.
President Hodge.
Aye. The motion carries 5-0. The resolution is hereby adopted. The next resolution is a request for the Video Lottery Terminal Community Grant Program to be under the perusal of the County Council. Mr. Massey, would you please read the synopsis of this bill, please?
Resolution number 39-2013, Video Lottery Terminal VLT Local Community Grant Program. A resolution to request that the VLT Local Community Grant Program continue to be administered through the County Council office, and the County Council shall continue to provide oversight for the Community Grant Program in conjunction with the appointed Grant Review Committee and County Executive. Introduced by Councilwoman Diana Brumell, introduced and order posted May 7, 2013, and scheduled for consideration on May 21st, 2013.
Councilwoman Brumell, would you like to speak for the reason behind the resolution?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, this just makes a lot more sense for the county council to administer this. Our administrative, executive administrator, I'm not sure if I have the title correct, Vicki Rinkerman had been administrating this program. She's familiar with it. Through the county council, we would have checks and balance, and it would be transparent. The public would have an opportunity if they were not happy or if they wanted to comment. We have regularly scheduled meetings. It just makes perfect sense, and I didn't understand previously why the council would have wanted to just automatically hand it over to the county executive.
Is there any other questions or regarding this resolution? Hearing none, I'd like to have a motion for approval.
Make a motion that we adopt resolution number 39, 2013.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's been a motion to approve resolution 39-2013 by Councilwoman Brumell and a second by Councilman Dunn. Is there any further discussion?
This resolution is merely, is asking the county executive if she will agree. Is that the way I understand it?
I see now that it says to request, and that's interesting because that's not what I had proposed. I guess that's what it is. Let's see, we have a second. Can I amend the resolution?
I don't think under the charter you can, we can request it, but I don't think that you can take that power away from the county executive by resolution.
Okay, under what criteria does she automatically administer the VLT program?
all committees, well, I think that Mr. Allison, or Mr. Juan.
Yeah, I'll start out. Our position is, it's an executive function. It's a budgeted, it's in the approved budget. The executive staff is implementing that portion of the budget. That's our position.
Okay, so, my position is that the county council can pass a resolution to, pass that we would be in control. And the adoption, of the budget, we haven't done yet. We've already administered, the county commissioners had it administered.
Yeah, I'm speaking to the current budget, the current multi-year plan.
Okay, I think that we could pass a resolution to request or to ask. I think there's nothing wrong with the resolution that requests or asks. I don't think that we can pass a resolution that is in opposition or in conflict with the charter.
Well, since we have an attorney that, is the county executive's attorney, let's go ahead and, we'll go ahead and vote this way.
Mr. Allison, did you have a comment?
Just to say, it's separation of powers at play. The executive side administers it once it's budgeted.
I have talked to the county executive about the issues that Councilwoman Brumell brought up. I thought she had some very legitimate concerns about the transparency, about the checks and balances and some other issues. And I've been assured by the executive that she will be open and transparent with this. I think checks and balances will be within the committee that she appoints to help her administer this program, which the commissioners had a committee to help Vicki administer this program. There's also the local development council that has to make recommendations about this. If in the event that we feel that it's not properly administered, I think that we can take action in many different ways. But I think we also have some control because we can also look at the budget and see where that money is going. And we can amend the budget if we're not happy with these revenue expenditures or where that money is going. I think that we do have some oversight in that way. But I'm afraid that this is when I say this, I'm talking about the administration of this program is something that is administrative and executive responsibilities that we can't take unless she wants to give it to us. And she's indicated to me that she doesn't want to go against the charter's policies and procedures. So is there anyone else that has any comments regarding this matter?
Well, President Conch, could you give me an example if someone were to object, what recourse would they have, going to the county executive, or what would they do?
Object to what?
The way it's being administered, the allocation of money. As you recall, when we were county commissioners, we did get recommendations. We had a 3-year plan. We had the ability to change that in a final say.
During the budget process, I think that you can delete the expenditures if the county executive recommends the money being spent improperly, we can delete that budget item. Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Mr. Massey, would you please call the roll?
Dr. McCarthy?
Nay.
Ms. Bowlesby?
No.
Mr. Dunn?
Aye.
Ms. Brumell? President Hodge?
No. The motion fails 2-3. The motion, or the resolution is not adopted. Next, resolution is 41-2013. This is an agreement for a pilot program, also known as payment in lieu of taxes, between Cecil County, Old Dominion Electric Cooperative, and Essential Power Rock Springs LLC. Mr. Massey, would you please read the short title of the resolution, please?
Resolution number 41-2013, a resolution to approve an amendment to the That Certain Pilot Agreement dated April 2nd, 2002, by and between Cecil County, Maryland, a body, corporate, and politic, formerly the Board of County Commissioners of Cecil County, and Old Dominion Electric Cooperative and Essential Power Rock Springs LLC, successors in interest to Rock Springs Generation LLC, and Outwater Funding Limited Partnership, the original signatories, extending the term of the pilot and modifying the payment schedule and payment amounts in the event that ODEC proceeds with construction of a combined cycle project at the facility, the expansion. Introduced by the Council President on behalf of the County Executive, introduced in order posted May 7, 2013, and scheduled for consideration on May 21st, 2013.
Mr. Wine, do you have anything to add?
For Craig.
Thank you, Mr. Wine. Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the administration of the county, to say we're very pleased to work out this collaborative agreement in conjunction with the council and the folks from Old Dominion Electric Cooperative and Essential Power Rock Springs. Over the past several weeks, we've had the benefit of on-site tours, working closely to develop a concept of a pilot, come to an agreement generating a negotiated revenue stream through 2035, amounting to total about $95 million, and an estimated useful life of the facility upwards of till the fiscal year 2051, which we anticipate may be beyond a great many of our life cycles. But in any event, we're very pleased to have been able to participate in this process, and we look forward to your consideration.
Thank you. Lisa Johnson, the Senior Vice President, Chief Operating Officer of Old Dominion Electric Cooperative. Would you like to speak to this matter?
I would. Thank you, President Hodge, and good evening to you and the members of the council. Again, my name is Lisa Johnson. I'm with Old Dominion Electric Cooperative. And this resolution that's before you this evening is in regards to the proposed Wildcat Point Generation Facility that we announced last month and that we are planning to develop and build at the existing site that we own at Rock Springs Generation Facility in Conowingo. The resolution does provide for an amendment to the existing pilot agreement that is in place currently for our existing Rock Springs site and facility. The amendment accommodates the addition of the Wildcat Point Generation Facility. It extends the term of the original agreement by 13 years and will result in approximately $124 million of revenue over the project's life. This is compared to the $43 million originally envisioned under the current pilot. This amended pilot agreement is an essential component to the decision that we've made to pursue the Wildcat Point Generation Facility here in Cecil County. We believe the amended pilot agreement will provide more long-term and stable revenue for Cecil County. And for ODEC, it will provide some level of certainty that is so important for a project and an investment of this magnitude. We're very excited about this new project and all of the economic benefits that we believe it will bring to the county. That's including peak construction jobs. We expect around 600 jobs, as well as 30 ongoing permanent jobs at the site once it's operational. I very much appreciate the county's efforts to date on this agreement and the amendment, and I would appreciate your favorable consideration on this resolution tonight. Thank you very much.
Are there any questions by the from the council members?
I do have a concern that the water source has not been identified. And Lisa, could you come up? Thank you. Do you know about when you're going to know where the water source is going to be for the processing or the cooling down of the machinery?
I expect over the next several months, we will continue those discussions. I believe a letter was sent and may or may not have been circulated yet to you all. But we wanted to further our discussions from those of you that were attending the tour last week. We are exploring two specific water sources, one of which would be a withdrawal from the Susquehanna. That would have to go through the Susquehanna River Basin Commission process. The other is a possible supply through a local water authority. So those are discussions that are ongoing. They will go in parallel with the permitting process that will happen through the Public Service Commission.
Okay.
May I ask, Councilman Bruno, what's your concern about the water?
Just wanting a definitive answer and wanting to hear from the community any concerns that they would have, since I do I represent County Water, but that is my district. And the Chester County Water Authority, I believe that's the authority that Chester Water. Okay, that's the one that you're referring to. I'm just wondering, what would the, if it was brought down to that area, what might be the impact?
I can't give you that information at this point. I think those discussions need to continue. But again, all of that process is going to go in parallel with the permitting process, and there will be opportunities for the public to participate in that process as it goes along.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Are there any other questions from the council? May I have a motion to approve the resolution?
I move we approve the resolution.
Seconded.
Wait a minute.
41.
16, yes.
That's 2013.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
There's been a motion to approve resolution 41-2014 by Councilman McCarthy and a second by Councilwoman Bowlesby. Is there any further discussion on the motion? I'd just like to say that I think this is a mutually beneficial arrangement. I think that it'll create a cash flow stream for the citizens of Cecil County, and it's in cooperation with ODEC and others to make this happen. I see some other benefits, including job creation in some other areas. I just have one issue that I'd like you to seriously consider, and I've mentioned this before, that I would love to see more during construction and during the operation. I'd like to see Cecil County citizens and businesses considered for those jobs. I hate to see everyone from Texas coming to Rock Springs and building this facility. Now, I realize that there's no company in Cecil County that knows how to build and has experience building power plants. But on the other hand, I know that there are lots of support things that we can do to help you. And I'm not asking to spend more money doing it, but I'd like to see you bend over backwards to try to support Cecil County businesses and citizens in your efforts to generate power at your Wildcat project. So we have a motion and a second. I'd like the council manager to call the roll call vote, please.
Dr. McCarthy?
Aye.
Ms. Bowlesby?
Aye.
Mr. Dunn?
Aye.
Mr. Mel?
Aye.
President Hott?
Aye. The motion passes 5-0. The resolution is hereby adopted. The next resolution is a resolution for the capital improvement program for fiscal year 2014 through 2018.
Mr. President?
Yes.
I believe we want to consider the budget before we consider the amendments. Before we consider the resolution.
I think you should introduce.
Okay.
Introduce. And before we vote on it, we're going to entertain amendments. Is that fair? so I'd like you to read it into the record, and then we'll offer up any amendments. So we're not gonna vote on the resolution before we consider all the amendments. Is that fair?
We want to do the bill first, or the resolution? We need to do the bill, public bill first.
Do we care where we start?
Current expense would be referable.
Which one?
The current expense, which is labeled
Operating income?
the Bill 2013-03, annual budget and appropriation ordinance.
Okay, and we're gonna go out of order. We're gonna consider bill number 2013-03. And I hope the public bears with us. This is the first time that we've gone through the budget process, and we'll do better next time, I hope. Mr. Massey, would you please read bill number 2013-01, the annual budget and appropriation ordinance?
I think it's A3.
I'm sorry, 2013-03.
Bill number 2013-03, the annual budget and appropriation ordinance of Cecil County for FY 2014 to adopt the county budget consisting of the current expense budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2014, the capital budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2014, the special purpose budgets for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2014, and the grants budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2014, and to appropriate funds for all expenditures for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2013, and ending June 30th, 2014, as hereinafter indicated, introduced by the council president on behalf of the county executive, introduced, read first time, and order posted March 5th, 2013, public hearing scheduled for May 7th, 2013 at 7 p.m.
I think we're making a mistake on the order. I think that the order was intentionally put in the way it was put into the budget, because if we make amendments to the capital improvement program, that would affect the budget. What you're suggesting is that we're doing the budget before we've considered the other items.
This was Mr. Robinson's
So
direction.
what happens if we amend the capital improvement budget? Doesn't that affect the operating budget?
In fact, that's one of the pages in here. You will see that if the amendments are adopted to the budget, that the summary for the current year expenditures and expenses, the adopted version, becomes Appendix B-1, and the adopted capital budget becomes Appendix D-1.
All right, we'll go ahead and move on. Mr. Robinson, do you have anything to say regarding budget, annual budget appropriation?
I think there's been a feeling of rush to judgment, but I can assure you that this has been a topic of approximately, either solely or partially, the last 20 meetings of the budget hearings, and has had a public hearing also. This is a budget that promotes the county's intent to educate its citizens, to promote the infrastructure of the county, to help make the roads and the neighborhoods safe, and to provide good and reasonable and expected services from the emergency services department and the EMS staff that they have. There's a lot of other items in here that have been the subject of conversation, I believe, extensively, and a lot of the issues have come up, and I believe they've been appropriately considered. And I believe there are 3 or 4 amendments that basically are the intent to implement the final summary. And I believe it's a well-considered action, and hope that you support it.
Okay, are there any questions from the council members regarding the operating annual budget and appropriation ordinance? Can I have a motion to approve?
We have amendments.
Yes. We can amend it.
It won't be a motion.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
motion to
Can I have a
disapprove.
motion for amendment?
Can I make a motion to disapprove?
Okay.
Motion to disapprove.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there there's been a motion to disapprove the annual budget and appropriation ordinance. And a second. Is there any discussion?
Yes, there's a number of increases in this budget that in good conscience I cannot support. I think during our budget hearings, I was very clear. I supported a number of the recommendations from the Budget Advisory Committee. And it's not.
If we don't approve the budget, then how do we pay our bills? We're gonna shut the government down?
Well, we're gonna have to come up with a budget we can live with.
Is there any further discussion about a motion to disapprove the budget?
Sure, I'll just quickly add that, looking at this, and we haven't gotten to the amendments yet, that, on the face of it, it's fiscally irresponsible and it dramatically increases county spending, and that's why I'm voting against it.
All right. Mr. Massey, would you call the roll call on the motion to disapprove the budget?
Dr. McCarthy,
Aye.
Ms. Polk,
No, you don't want to disapprove it. You don't want to say aye.
Is there some coaching going on?
Okay, well, let me tell you what I do think, is I think we probably should basically not pass it tonight, and basically look forward to basically really dealing with this in potentially in the next few days. I'll say I choose myself on the road.
But I wouldn't. Mr. McCarthy would recommend that.
I'm not certain that everything will be done here. We can go through one at a time. Okay, let's go through one at a time.
There's a motion on the floor. to disapprove the budget.
Talk in the microphone, please.
To disapprove the budget as presented.
All right, go ahead, call the roll.
Dr. McCarthy,
I'm still not certain what you're asking me to do.
okay. All right, want me to pass?
I'll pass right now.
Okay, Ms. Bowlesby,
No.
Mr. Dunn,
Aye.
Ms. Brumell, President Hodge,
I'll say aye. Okay, the motion passes.
no, fails.
I'm sorry.
No,
It fails.
we supported my motion to not approve the budget. There were 3 ayes.
There was-
Motion
I-
to
No, I
disapprove.
think myself.
1, 2, 3.
The motion passed.
3 to 1.
So I'm gonna offer another motion to pass the budget with amendments. I'm gonna offer another motion to pass the budget with amendments.
I'll second that.
And before we pass the budget with amendments, I'd like to offer amendment number 1, which is introduced by Councilman McCarthy.
Point of order, we need to finish the motion. Don't we have to make a motion? Don't we have to complete it that we all are in agreement to pass this amendment? Or
Mr. McCarthy, would you please motion the first? Oh, wait. Okay, we have a motion to approve the budget with amendments. Do we have a second?
Yes.
So now we're gonna motion to make amendments.
Okay,
Okay?
that's right.
Mr. McCarthy, would you offer the first amendment, number 1?
Yes, I offer up amendment number 1, which eliminates $45,000 from the professional services account. Yes, it's exactly what it is. Let me just read one thing. Eliminates request for internal auditor from salaries professional, which was proposed at $70,000 and moved to $25,000 professional service account, which would decrease funding by $45,000.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Not yet. Mr. Massey, would you please read into the record the summary of amendment number 1?
Amendment number 1, in Appendix A1, Fund 111, County Council delete $587,957 and insert $542,194.
Okay, for the record, this eliminates the internal auditor for the county council. And it moves $25,000 to professional services and decreases funding by $45,000 from the operating budget. Okay, there's been a motion and a second to approve amendment number 1. Is there any discussion?
I would actually support reducing, the internal auditor to a part-time as needed. I would not support moving it to professional services. In fact, it was, what Mr. Lobos had, described with the library getting a, professional, opinion on the roof, whereas an auditor has a standard of reliability in the information that they're, presenting. Professional, advisor, a lot of times they basically give you the answer that you want. Again, so there's an integrity with, the auditor information. And that was the purpose, in me introducing it.
Okay, is there any other discussion on amendment number 1? Hearing that, would Mr. Massey please call the roll call vote for amendment number 1?
Dr. McCarthy?
Aye.
Ms. Bowlesby?
Aye.
Mr. Dunn?
No.
Ms. Brumell?
No.
President Hodge?
Aye. Okay, the motion passes 3-2 and will be adopted with the bill. Amendment number 2 is a reduction in the law enforcement budget, but it was not just Fund 311. Mr. Whiteford, do you have the codes for, there was 3 codes. 330.
331. The departments, under the authority of the sheriff are, 311, law enforcement, 331, detention center, and 331, or 333, work release. This amendment, appears to, deal directly with 311.
No, but, you know, my motion earlier today was all 3 codes.
Isn't it my understanding the sheriff can take the money from whichever, of his lines? We just needed to have it in one specific line for the budget purpose.
As a procedural matter, that's fine. The sheriff has the ability to transfer funding within departments under his authority.
Mr. Whiteford, are you certain that that message is clear enough for the sheriff to understand that he can do do that, it's not specific.
I am absolutely certain of that, sir.
I'm sorry?
I am absolutely certain of that, sir. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Massey, is there a second to amendment number 2?
There's not been a motion?
I'll move to approve amendment number 2, which is a reduction in law enforcement and other corrections and something else, I'm sorry, I forgot. Detention by $125,000.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Mr. Massey, would you read into the record the amendment number 2?
In Appendix A1, Fund 311, Law Enforcement, delete 9,353,878 and insert $9,228,878.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second for amendment number 2, which reduces the public safety / law enforcement budget. Is there any discussion?
I'm actually gonna vote against this. I did have a discussion with a law enforcement officer today, and I wanted to use this as leverage to, I wanted to see a plan or some movement from the sheriff's department to show that he's upgraded his website to make it more inviting to the community. I since found out that they have just started a Facebook account. They have just started sending out text notices. You can sign up to get updates, and they have done extensive work, and it should be posted very soon on their website. I was very pleased to hear all the work that they have done, and it's been a collaborative effort between 3 deputies working on this.
Is there any other questions or comments or discussion regarding the motion? I'd like to say that the county executive proposed an additional 5 deputies in the budget. I hope that the sheriff can manage to continue to support those 5 positions. I am not suggesting that those 5 positions be eliminated. But I'm hoping that the sheriff can find ways in his budget to delete the $125,000 and still fund the 5 positions and all the resources that they need to do their job.
I want to add something to that. I had asked for a comparison, where is Cecil County at compared to surrounding counties nationally for police coverage according to population, and we do fall below, well below the average and surrounding counties. And we know that we have a very serious drug problem, crime problem, and because we've got to give the tools to the sheriff's office, but what I've argued before is that I'd like to see him leveraging his resources to go further and to incorporate community policing.
Okay. There's been a motion and a second to amend bill number 2013-03 by amendment number 2, reduction in law enforcement budget by $125,000. Would Mr. Massey please call the roll?
Dr. McCarthy?
Aye.
Ms. Ballsby?
Aye.
Mr. Dunn?
Aye.
Ms. Brumell?
No.
President Hodge?
Aye. The motion passes 4-1. Amendment number 2 is adopted. Amendment number 3. I'm sorry.
This is the sick leave buyback.
Oh, okay.
And it's in each department.
It doesn't say that.
when he gets done his first part, I'd be happy to summarize what the impact versus reading everyone.
All right, let's start at the beginning. I have a motion to, I guess my motion was to reduce the sick day buyback by 50% of the proposed budget. And I guess and that's my motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to reduce the sick day buyback by 50%. I guess the finance department has put together a list of how that amends each and every department. And that has employees subject to the policy.
Yes, sir.
And so, Mr. Massey, would you read into the record what you can?
Amendment number 3 to bill number 2013-03. In Appendix A1, Fund 001, Department 121, Director of Administration, delete $332,424 and insert $327,215. In Appendix A1, Fund 001, Department 141, the Circuit Court, delete $2,158,734 and insert $2,157,547. In Appendix A1, Fund 001, Department 151, State's Attorney Office, delete $1,897,662 and insert.
Hold it.
Yeah, that's not.
There's a typo on that. It should be 1,896,042.
Okay, so delete $1,897,662 and insert $1,896,042.
Yes, sir.
In Appendix A1, Fund 001, Department 192, Finance, delete $2,506,418 and insert $2,501,991. In Appendix A1, Fund 001, Department 196, Purchasing, delete $229,073 and insert $225,926. In Appendix 1A, Fund 001, Department 211, Liquor Board, delete $206,688 and insert $204,019. In Appendix A1, Fund 001, Department 221, Planning and Zoning, delete $1,129,568 and insert $1,118,037. In Appendix A1, Fund 001, Department 243, Building Maintenance, Health Department Building, delete $127,777 and insert $125,726. In Appendix A1, Fund 001, Department 311, Law Enforcement, delete $9,228,878 and insert $9,198,061. In Appendix A1, Fund 001, Department 331, Detention Center, delete $7,130,323 and insert $7,212,648. In Appendix A1, Fund 001, Department 333, County Work Release, delete $2,132,903 and insert $2,125,637. In Appendix A1, Fund 001, Department 341, Department of Emergency Services, delete $4,567,819 and insert $4,552,143. In Appendix 1A, Fund 001, Department 352, Emergency Medical Services, delete $3,432,284 and insert $3,417,525. In Appendix 1A1, Fund 001, Department 361, Permits and Inspections, delete $921,565 and insert $913,544. In Appendix A1, Fund 001, Department 401, Public Works, Office of Director, delete $443,350 and insert $439,050. In Appendix A1, Fund 001, Department 402, Public Works, Development Services, delete $1,626,657 and insert $1,626,044. In Appendix A1, Fund 001, Department 403, Public Works, Engineering and Construction, delete $867,820 and insert $867,161. In Appendix 1A, Fund 001, Department 412, Roads Administration, delete $3,455,674 and insert $3,441,381. In Appendix 1A, Fund 001, Department 531, Social Services, delete $844,412 and insert $836,469. In Appendix A1, Fund 001, Department 533, Domestic Violence, delete $953,813 and insert $951,058. In Appendix A1, Fund 001, Department 731, Economic Development, delete $991,089 and insert $987,430. In Appendix A1, Fund 001, Department 914, Operating Transfer 103, Housing, delete $31,049 and insert $26,445. In Appendix A1, Fund 001, Department 922, Operating Transfer 109, Aging, delete $1,138,723 and insert $1,131,058. In Appendix A1, Fund 103, Department 711, Housing, delete $443,282 and insert $438,678. In Appendix A1, Fund 109, Department 523, Senior Services, delete $1,992,863 and insert $1,985,198. In Appendix 1A, Fund 602, Department 421, delete $5,868,897 and insert $5,864,831. And in Appendix A1, Fund 605, Department 431, Wastewater Northeast Sanitary District, delete $5,703,386 and insert $5,693,884.
Does someone have the number for the total reduction?
Actually, on the report that we said is the 3-page report that summarizes, we have the total of all 4 amendments.
You have the total reduction in the employee sick leave buyback program.
Yeah, we had supplied it earlier, and I don't have it at my fingertips.
It's approximately $169,000.
$169,117.
It was
I
half,
believe.
right.
Mr. Robinson, one question. On every one of these, there was a reduction in the amount of money spent, except for the 10th item on the first page under amendment number 3, where it went from $7,130,323 to $7,212,648. Why would there be an increase?
Let me look at the computer generated page, and I will be happy to.
It's appendix A1 fund
Yeah, no, I'm-
001.
what I'm saying is,
There's a typographical error in your
Yeah.
second piece of your amendment as written. Should be 7 million delete 7,130,323 and insert 7,129,649. Transposition of figures.
129,
Correct.
648.
Correct.
Okay.
and actually it should be 649.
Okay, there's a motion to amend bill number 2013-013 with amendment number 3 that reduces the employee sick buyback program by $169,000 and change. Is there any further discussion regarding this amendment? Hearing none, Mr. Massey, would you call the roll?
Dr. McCarthy,
Aye.
Ms. Bowlesby,
Aye.
Mr. Dunn,
Aye.
Ms. Brumell,
Aye.
President Hodge.
Aye. The motion passes 5-0. The amendment is adopted. Okay, there's amendment number 4 that I'll make a motion to reduce the Board of Education allocation by $250,000. Would Mr. Massey please reintroduce this amendment?
Amendment number 4 to bill number 2013-03. In appendix A3, Board of Education allocation, delete 74,606,292 and insert 74,356,292.
It should be appendix A1. The information shows up in 2 spots, and for consistency of presentation, we used A1, so we'll make that change.
Is there any questions from the council? If there's been a motion and a second, is there any discussion?
Was there a second?
Okay, I'm sorry. Was there a second for the motion?
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any discussion regarding amendment number 4?
Yes, I basically feel that the school board has done everything they can to basically provide quality education for many students in the county. I'm aware that some of the enrollments have gone down, but that does not diminish the base expenses that they have to provide. They've also been labeled or basically forced to provide many mandates that have been put on them by the state and federal governments. I would suggest that we not reduce their budget.
Right, is there any other discussion?
I feel very strongly that education is an investment, not an expense, and I support all of the remarks made by Dr. McCarthy.
Okay. I agree with Councilwoman McCarthy and Councilwoman Bowlesby, but under the circumstances, I believe that we've been cutting the budget elsewhere, and I believe that I don't like to say they can live with this, but they can make do. And I will be fully supportive in the future. And I hope that we can put together and work together on other programs like the additional technical training. All right, we have a motion and a second for amendment number 4, which is a reduction in funding for the Board of Education, in the amount of $250,000. All those in favor, I'm sorry, Mr. Massey, would you please call the roll?
Dr. McCarthy,
Nay.
Ms. Bowlesby,
Nay.
Mr. Dunn,
Aye.
Ms. Bromell,
Aye.
President Hodge.
Aye. Does anyone else have any amendments to the operating budget or the annual budget and appropriation ordinance? I'd like to offer up one more amendment to reduce the library budget by $100,000, and I'll make that a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to reduce the library budget by $100,000. I know that we don't have an amendment made up in advance. We'll have to call that amendment number 5. Mr. Massey, would you make something up for us?
Yes.
Read it into the record.
Which department is it, if I might ask?
Library.
There's capital as well as hospital, just asking.
Okay, libraries is 631. So in appendix A1, line, what's it called? Fund 631 libraries.
It'll be Fund 001 in Department 631.
So delete 4,683,920 and insert 4,583,920.
Okay, there's, anybody have any discussion regarding the motion?
Yes, can you tell me how much they've increased their budget, operating budget from last year?
9.3%.
Are we speaking of the allocation being made to the libraries or the library's original full budget, including all of their
The
activities?
proposed budget.
The amount that is in our proposed allocation to them is the amount that Mr. Massey read. 4,683,920.
Is there any further discussion on the motion? Motion to approve amendment number 5. Mr. Massey, would you call the roll?
Dr. McCarthy,
Aye.
Ms. Bowlesby,
Aye.
Mr. Dunn,
Aye.
Ms. Bromell,
Aye.
President Hodge.
Aye. Okay, we have a motion to approve the annual budget and appropriations ordinance with 5 amendments. And I think,
If I may,
go ahead.
there are 2 amendments that were made relating to the budget, which is the current budget and therefore is part of this ordinance.
Shouldn't those amend the capital improvement budget? That's why I said, that's why I suggested we start with the
They
capital.
fall up in two spots, and one part of it is the one-page item, which is shown as Schedule D-1.
Okay, do we have a copy of the amendment?
The amendments, you should, they were part of the handouts, I believe, that you got.
I have the capital amendments.
And there's a one-page summary which we included as a schedule in this ordinance.
These are amendments to the capital improvement budget that we haven't considered yet.
They fall into two parts. The program runs for 5 years, this budget runs for 1. And the changes that were discussed were to this specific part of it. I understand and agree that the information has to be incorporated into the 5-year plan as well. But the two changes that are in these amendments show up on this exhibit that are part of this ordinance.
I guess I'm gonna make a motion, and you can tell me if I'm out of order, Mr. Allison, but I guess we'll make another amendment to the annual budget and appropriation ordinance to accommodate adjustments to the capital improvement budget. Can we do that? It's just a blanket. And then I'd like to address these amendments when we get to the capital budget.
Yes, for this year.
Okay, they are part of section 2 of this ordinance.
Well, there's no, I agree, I understand how
Okay.
they into it. I would rather start it like we discussed originally and done the capital improvement budget, finished it out, and then it would have automatically made amendments to our operating budget.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll make a motion to amend the annual budget and appropriation ordinance by the amendments that will be made to the capital improvement program for fiscal year 2014 through 2018. And we have in front of us those amendments that I'd like to consider when we get to the capital improvement program. But I'd just like to make an allowance in this budget for those amendments. Is that okay with the council?
Yes.
All right, can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to amend the annual budget and appropriation ordinance by the adjustments that we make in the capital improvement program. Is there any questions or discussion?
Can I offer an additional amendment to the capital improvement program?
No, I'd rather you do it when we consider these. We're gonna consider these individually, you can add to this.
Okay.
So all we're trying to do is make an accommodation for these amendments, however many we come up with. Okay. Hearing no further discussion.
Is this amendment number 1 referring to?
No, just me.
Yes, we're not approving these yet, we're just making an accommodation, we're just making an accommodation within the operating budget to accommodate adjustments to the capital budget. Okay, we will consider these in a minute.
Okay.
Or not. Okay, Mr. Massey, would you call the roll call vote for this motion?
Dr. McCarthy,
Aye.
Ms. Bowlesby,
Aye.
Mr. Dunn,
Aye.
Ms. Bromell,
Aye.
President Hodge.
Aye. Okay, the motion carries 5-0, and the capital improvement program amendments will be incorporated into the annual budget and appropriation ordinance. Now, Mr. Robinson, is it okay if we go to the capital improvement program at this time?
Yes, sir.
Is that okay with everybody? Okay, so,
Well, we finish up with the operating budget. Then
oh,
we
you
have
have,
a
you're right,
meeting then.
okay, yeah, okay. We have amended the operating budget, also known as the bill number 2013-03, the annual budget and appropriation ordinance with amendments. And we had 5 amendments, 6 amendments, 6 amendments. May I have a motion to approve bill number 2013-13 with amendments, plus the capital improvement?
I'll move that we approve the budget with amendments.
Is there a second? I'll second it. There's been a motion and a second to approve bill number 2013-03, the annual budget and appropriation ordinance with 6 amendments. Is there any discussion?
Ultimately, I can, for this budget, even with the amendments, while it's reduced spending, it's still too much spending. We need to live within our means, and, there was a number of, items that I did request. I was not supported during our budget deliberations, and,
Okay.
it would have supported really, not taking anything out of fund balance, and it specifically didn't support the, capital, improvement programs, the Seneca Point, the Old Elk Neck, number of projects.
Okay, is there any other discussion on the motion?
Sure, just a quick comment, and I'm relieved that there were some last minute cuts offered up here tonight, but overall, I'm still discouraged that, most of the recommendations from the budget committee were largely ignored, and I think we could have went further with the cuts, so I'll be voting no on the motion.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to approve bill number 2013-03, the annual budget and appropriation ordinance. Would Mr. Massey please call the roll call?
Dr. McCarthy?
Aye.
Ms. Bowlesby? Mr. Dunn?
No.
Ms. Bromell?
No,
President Hodge?
Aye. The motion passes 3-2. The annual budget and appropriation ordinance is hereby adopted with amendments. Okay, now we're going to move to the capital improvement program. And, I guess I need a motion to approve the capital improvement program with amendments. Then we'll introduce the amendments.
I move to approve the capital improvement program with amendments.
Is there a second? I'll second the motion. There's been a motion and a second to approve the capital improvement program for fiscal year 2014-2018 with amendments. Does anyone want to offer the amendments, or you want me to introduce them?
These amendments are for resolution 16-2013.
That's where we are.
Okay,
We're on 16-2013 capital improvement program.
okay.
There's two amendments, and I'll keep them together unless someone has a resistance. There's amendment number 1 is a motion to approve or delete funding for the turf field. And amendment number 2 is a motion to reduce funding to the Cecil College capital request for the HVA system building A by $23,000. Would you read these amendments into the record, Mr. Massey?
Sure. Amendment 1 to Resolution 16-2013, in Parks and Recreation capital budget, Calvert Park, turf field parking lot, delete $951,000 and insert $50,000 for the engineering and design of turf field. Russ, we're gonna do one amendment at a time.
Do we have any objection to doing them together?
No, I prefer to do them singly if at all possible.
Okay, then we'll do them separately.
This amendment was proposed by you. We've reduced, the turf field and parking lot from $951,000 to $50,000 for engineering and design of turf field. What do we expect to accomplish by doing this? Will there be anything usable when this is said and done?
We will have a set of plans that will accommodate the design of a turf field, that will be building plans for a contractor to come in and either build a synthetic turf field or a regular turf field. It will have the engineering and drawings for the water management, stormwater management, the cut and fill, and it'll be a plan for someone to use to improve a turf field at the Calvert Park.
Can we use that turf field as it presently stands?
We can, but it is not very high quality.
It's better than nothing. I mean, I would like to see the $50,000 at least end up with something that the children can play on.
The problem is you just can't send a guy out there and say move dirt.
I understand
In
that.
fact, we know an individual in Cecil County got into a hell of a lot of trouble with the Maryland Department of Environment because he did exactly that. He was helpful and he just went out and started moving dirt to prepare a field for Northeast High School and got into a ton of trouble. So we need to, unfortunately, get permits and licenses and engineering and drawing and stormwater management. It's a problem, but I can give you the name and number of the person that almost went to jail over doing exactly what you wanted to do.
No, I'm not saying that we should do anything, but what I'm saying is that for $50,000, we should have, I would hopefully have more than just a set of plans.
I'd like to say to support that, but unfortunately, the county is subject to the same requirements that most developers and others are mandated to follow. Okay, is there any other discussion about amendment number 1 to the resolution number 16-2013, the capital improvement program?
Just wanted to say that this is one of the recommendations of the Citizens Budget Advisory Committee to not fund the turf field.
Is there any other discussion? Mr. Massey, would you please call the roll call?
Do we have a motion?
Yes, I made a motion.
Okay, and Ms. Polsey seconded? Yes. Okay, I'm sorry. Dr. McCarthy?
Aye.
Ms. Bowlesby?
Aye.
Mr. Dunn?
Aye.
Ms. Brumell?
Aye.
President Hodge?
Aye. Amendment number 1 to the capital improvement project is hereby adopted by a majority vote. Okay, amendment number 2 is a motion to reduce Cecil College capital request by $23,000 for the HVAC system in Building A. Mr. Massey, I'll make a motion to make that happen. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
There's been a motion and a second to reduce the funding for Cecil College request by $23,000. Mr. Massey, would you read it into the record?
Amendment number 2 to resolution number 16-2013. In the capital improvement budget, Cecil College section, HVAC system, building A, delete $148,000 and insert $125,000.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to amend the capital improvement project by $23,000 for the Cecil College project. Is there any discussion?
I'll go ahead and support this, but the Citizens Budget Advisory Committee recommended not funding the renovation at all, which was, they have 158, but I think it's 148,000.
in my mind, we have vacant space in a building that could be used, and it's not productive just to have abandoned vacant space, and I think it's a wise choice to fit that building out for productive use. So I fully support, the renovations at the lower amount that's been proposed. Is there any further discussion? Mr. Massey, call for a roll call vote, please.
Dr. McCarthy,
Aye.
Ms. Bowlesby,
Aye.
Mr. Dunn,
Aye.
Ms. Brunel,
Aye.
President Hodge.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. The amendment number 2 is hereby adopted. Did any other council member have any other amendments to the capital improvement program?